Well, it was yesterday when I went to the wrecking yards and I decided to do the rack and pinion on my car, my Mazda. And so I just felt like doing it, so I did it. So it cost me $46 for a good used rack and pinion. And then I gotta return the core. And then I had to replace the bearing again. And to do that on this car, it would be cheaper to buy the whole rotor and spindle assembly. Because on this car I have to, the bearing, you can't take it off by hand. It has to be machined. It needs machines to do that. You know, a press. And they charged me $30 to do that, and the bearing cost $40, so expensive. So it's actually cheaper to go buy a good used spindle and rotor assembly with a good bearing on it. So I paid like I would say $30 for that rotor spindle assembly. Not much, still cheaper. And then I got a headlight, because one of the headlights was broken. So, yes. Wow, what a mess in here, huh? And I was like busy cleaning up the right side of the car, you know, the spindle side of the right side of the wheel there, because it was so heavily soiled with oil, you know. I had to clean it up. It was so heavily soiled that it made me want to clean it up. And this is all the dirt and oil that I got out. Oh, that shit, god damn, there's a lot. There's a lot of grime. So I finally took it off, because maybe I'm going to want to clean it up there. And plus I discovered something else wrong with the car, and I found out that it was that it's the leaf, the spring leaf, the bushings on it is defective, and it's causing it to move a little. And when that happens, it causes the wheels to feel like, causes the car to feel like it's pulling to the side when I accelerate. Well, I already got my cores, but you know, I discovered something else wrong with the car, as I already, you know, explained. See, I already got this part replaced. See, the bushing was messed up on this. It was defective. So I had to replace that whole thing, because I tried to get only the bushing, but it just wouldn't come off. So I ended up having no choice but to replace the whole thing, which is that part. And it cost me like $14, but $20 altogether, because I bought brake pads too, some good used ones, like I've been doing for the last 3 brake jobs on this car. And then also what I did too is I replaced the oil seal on the crankshaft, on the camshaft. I replaced that with another used one, because I got the seal off a car that I did not see any evidence of leakage around there. And there's like hard evidence of leakage around the camshaft seal in this car. Well, I can't see because I already closed it up. But it was a lot of oil around that area there. So I assumed that it was a camshaft seal, oil seal. So I replaced that, and now let's see what happens. But that oil seal, though, the one that the new one that I put in, it looked like it was in better shape than the other one, because like the opening was more closed. The inside of the ring or seal was more closed than the other one, if you know what I mean. And then the final thing I just discovered, a new problem I had besides all the things that I've done over the weekend. It's overheating. and I found that the thermostat was defective, or at least I think it is. And now I kind of think that I might have done something bad on the engine, like blowing the head gasket or something. I hope I didn't, because if I did, that's going to be a lot of work for me. And I'm not going to like that one. Man, I'm telling you, all these things I did in just this weekend. So it's totaling the job, all the jobs that I've done is totaling $180 for this weekend. And that's including the rack and pinion and a new part like that one. Well, a used one, a good used one. A rack and pinion, a bearing, like the rotor assembly, and the thermostat too, and the oil seal. So there's a lot of things that I've done for $180. So let's see what kind of luck I'll have after I'm done with this car. Yes. Well, I discovered that the head gasket is blown on my Mazda. So I'm screwed, but I already got the head gasket, but I have no chance of doing it in the next couple of days because it's gonna get too dark. It's too dark when I get home because it gets dark at 5 o'clock. And so what I did, I decided to get a brand new car. It's not new, but I decided to get another car instead. As you can see, that's it. I got a new car, and it's a Ford Escort, like the one that I used to have. Only difference is that it's more like what I like. In other words, it's just what I like, all the stuff it's got, and the collar. It's just like what I like. It has everything that I like on an Escort, or that car anyway. So I just got a new car today, only a couple of hours ago, and I'm loving it. And this is where I found it. Okay, this ad right here. See, this is where I bought it from. Fiesta Motors. I bought it through a dealership. And then this ad right here is what I saw, but that's not what I got though. See, I went over there to get this car, but supposedly they're telling me they sold it. But they had the one that I showed right now. They had that one for sale for $3,025. They had this one for sale. But this one, they're telling me, this one was sold. So, well, I guess they had this one. But when I saw that one for $39.25, I saw that car is real clean. This car is real clean. And that's what was very impressive, because it was real clean. The car was really clean, that's what was impressive. The paint job doesn't look all chipped up, like from high mileage and stuff. And that's another thing too. I don't think the car has more than 76,000 miles on it, because all the interior, the seats, and all the steering wheel is not all worn out from high mileage, So I know it doesn't have more than 76,000 miles, because that's what the car has. 76,000 miles. And so I paid $4,000 for the car, or $3,925 plus taxes and stuff, and the registration too. So I'll be getting the 2002 stickers on January, because that's when the registration is due. So I originally went to get this car, but supposedly they didn't have it. That's a good deal, $2,300, $2,400. But I think this is a pretty good deal, because the car is super clean, and I mean real clean. And doesn't have any signs of being beat up or nothing. The interior is like perfect condition. And the body is perfect condition too. And not only that, it's got all the good stuff. Like aluminum wheels and the sunroof, automatic transmission, and some other good stuff that I like in a car. I'm telling you, so no, and overall I'm happy with my purchase. I'm happy with it. The car. And it's not like my black car, you know, the black Escort that I used to have. I was not happy with that car when I first got it. Because one reason was because I didn't like what I paid for it. That was like one of the main reasons why I didn't like it. And then another main reason why I didn't like it was because it didn't have the good stuff. Like the alloy wheels and everything else, you know, it didn't have that stuff. That's the second reason why, that's the second main reason why I didn't like that black car. And then the other reasons too is because it was because I didn't like the collar. I wanted some other collar. But black. But that was then, you know. Now this time I got a car with all the stuff that I do like. It's not a stripped down, because I didn't really like a stripped down car, you know. Because this one's not stripped down. Yes. So anyway, this car's not running right now, so I have to fix it this weekend or whenever I feel like it. But this one is my new car, and it's got only 75,000 miles, and I've driven a total of like about 42 miles so far. That's it. This car seems like it's in pretty good shape because the tires are excellent shape. But I was noticing that the transmission was acting up a little bit. But I think it might be because the car had been sitting there for a long time before somebody bought it. Which was me. And then it's got the sunroof. And then I don't even know if this car has ever been in an accident or not. But it doesn't look like it has though. Right, I can't really see if it has or not. Oh, but this is evidence that I would think that there is about this car having not more than 75,000 miles, and the evidence is on the steering wheel. It's not worn out unless they put on a steering wheel cover, but I doubt it though. And the seats are not all like worn out from more than 75,000 miles. And then the shift lever on the transmission, it's not like excessively worn out. That's how I would know if the car has more than 75,000 miles or not. But it doesn't really show signs of having more than that. So I guess this car looks good. It's got all the stuff I like on it, like I said. Oh, so how it looks to me, I got the saddest news I can say right now about this car there. Like, I took it apart yesterday, and I found that the head gasket was not damaged. It was not damaged. And I figured out that since it wasn't damaged, there is something else wrong with that car. And I found that I think the head is blown up or something, because, you know, it's like if the head gasket is not damaged, then something's terribly wrong with the engine, and I think the head is blown up. Now that would be something that I'll have to replace, and I decided I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna junk it. I'm thinking about junking the car, because you know, all the things I've done for it, you know, and it keeps turning me down, you know, and I'm not gonna do it anymore, you know. And Probably should have sold it a long time ago like I tried to before, but I decided to fix it up, but it's not doing it. And I fixed it up and I'd driven like 15,000 miles, but now the engine is gone. And what's even more sadder is I spent $185 over last weekend fixing it up, just for this to happen only about 20 miles later. You know, how sad, huh? So now I decided that I gotta get that car out of my mind by selling it to the junkyard, or just trying to sell it out in the streets for parts. Like, take the whole car for $200 or something. Shit. I would at least want the money I put into it over the weekend back. That's what I at least want, so that's messed up. Well, what can I say? But at least if I sell that car or get rid of that car one way or another, I don't think I'll ever want to touch it again. At least I'll never have to touch that car again. But, you know, at least I made some use out of that car. I made more use of it since the time that I made the attempt to sell it. But I made 15,000 miles use out of that car. And of course, before I get rid of the car, I'll take the battery because it's brand new. Also, I'll be taking the radio and the speakers and anything else, probably the tires too. I'll see. 5,400 on them. As of now, I'm just quite simply waiting until the ad gets placed so I could get rid of my car. And I'm selling it for real cheap too. I put it for $100. I put my car out for sale for $100, but I'm taking the wheels and the stereo with me and the battery too. But if I'll try to sell those to them too, because I can probably get as much as about $325 for the car, and that would make me happy right there. I'm recording how many minutes I record. Wow. I'm recording with the video camera on the phone what it says. It says 101 minutes. That's how long I talked to you for. Well, you know what? I have to eat because I haven't eaten today, so anyway. Yeah, so okay, well, I'll hear from you then. Yes. That was hecklered on the phone. Wow, I was talking to him for 101 minutes. Damn, man, look at that shit. Info, I gotta look for info. There you go. Wow, last, wow. 101, 102 minutes, man, I called him for. That's a lot of minutes, man. But I haven't really used up the 300 minutes yet that I know of, so, for this month. Well, it just started. So, check out the points I have in this game, Glover. Check out how many points I got. 10 million points. And 390 men. 390. Damn, that's a lot. And how I did it, I'll show you right now. So this is how I got all these points, constantly doing this. And that's how I got the 10 million points. Doing that for hours at a time, until I finally got those points. It's a lot of work too, man. Oh, man. Yes. Putting air in the tire. And this is what I decided to do, you know. Okay, I took the car apart. So I was working on the water pump last night at 11 or 12 o'clock. And then I've come to the conclusion that I kind of decided to work on the car instead of selling it. Man, what a mess in here, huh? And this is the evidence I found in what's the problem in the head. Oh man. This is the kind of evidence I found in what's wrong with the car. See this head here? It's cracked. And over here too. That's what I found, the crack. So I kind of figured that in the head of this engine, it overheated and it cracked. And that's where the problem was at. So that's what I found. And it definitely looks cracked. Those are all the other parts of the car, you know. And this water pump, I replaced it. But I guess the water pump wasn't defective, but I went ahead and replaced it anyway, so. So it's a lot of work I gotta do right now, so. I gotta go get a head, get a good used cylinder head from the wrecking yard. And it's only gonna cost me like 40 bucks. And then probably I was gonna think about reusing the gasket, but I'll see. Look at all the parts. I got the radiator poured out. Got the head gasket. Now here's the head right here that I'm gonna be putting on that needed to be replaced. I cleaned it out. See, as I can see, there are no cracks in this one. I can't really see too good, but there is no cracks though. Shit, man, I really gotta work on this car, man, I tell you. Gotta make a couple of gaskets. The old head and the new head. Yeah. I'm forced to make a few gaskets. I have to make a couple of gaskets. This is one. I have to make it out of this cereal box here. Gonna make one here. Then I gotta make another one for the intake manifold. And those are some things I gotta do. Yes. Well, I made this gasket here out of this box, as I said. Now I gotta put some glue and put it on this head here. Whoa, harsh. Well, this is Thanksgiving Thursday, and I got this car to run. Just kidding. Yeah, I couldn't get it to run. Shit. So, you know, that was messed up even more, you know. It was messed up as it was a couple weekends ago when I put on the rack and pinion and did some other things like the alignment and everything, and just to find out that the engine blew up on me. And then 2 weeks later, I tried to fix it as you just saw right now, put in a new head and everything, and I still couldn't get it to run, you know. But it's probably because I still gotta keep trying or something, but and maybe it's something small I did wrong that's making it not run, or maybe because the carburetor is totally contaminated water, or gas tank is contaminated water or whatever. But I don't want to bother with it. You know, now this time I officially want to get rid of that car one way or another. Tomorrow, which is Friday, I'm going to call the junkyard and take the car away, even if I'm going to get only $50 or $75 for it. I have to do it because I have to do it before I start thinking about fixing it again, because I know myself. But one thing I did though, on Wednesday, which was yesterday, is I went ahead and I took all 4 tires off of the car and put some other ones that were no good, because I found them in the trash, you know, those no good ones. So that way I could take the tires with me, you know, because they're good tires still, or they have a lot of life. So that's what I did last night. As you can see, this car, the why, have you noticed why it's low? Because of the tires, because I put in some old tires. And that one's flat. I have two flat tires on the car right now. But those tires aren't any good because I wanted to take the ones that were good, so I can put them in storage and make use of them later. Car, look at this tire here. See, it's an old tire.